Hello, hello. Oh, you're on mute.
I will figure that out. I will figure out how to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, that felt good actually collecting for the first time. That was nice. Mm. When I went to Laguna Beach last Saturday, ended
Uh-huh.
up buying some little like cup holder. You know, you set your coaster, little
Uh-huh.
coaster, and it's the Amalfi Coast.
Oh, wow.
Italy, and I bought a whole bunch of like not a whole bunch, but I bought like six be really pretty ceramic tile coasters, and I have them all
Have
over
you
the
been there?
house. Yes, and it looks just like that picture. That this is an actual picture that they overlaid a ceramic tile, or actually no, this is actually I think this is a painting. You know what's crazy? I honestly can't tell if this is a painting or an actual picture that's been overlaid. Ugh. It probably is a painting. I don't know, but it looks just like that. It's so beautiful there. You're gonna see it soon. It's gonna be nice.
I want to see it soon.
Yeah.
Uh, I Give me just a second because
Recording.
there we go.
Okay. I love you. Can I do it later once I'm done with this? Because it's over at like 7:30. Okay. Yep. I'm on you. Sorry.
It's all right. I get it.
Yes. Yeah, I'm definitely going to sleep early tonight.
Yeah, you probably need to. What do we have tomorrow?
We have two one-on-ones in the afternoon.
Okay, then I will. Oh, my daughter has a doctor's appointment. Wait, who's the second one-on-one? Did I miss one?
There's G and or Jay and Sherry. Ashari.
I don't have Shari's.
Okay, let me pull it up.
Uh,
You're in there. Is it not under your Kingdom Economic Builders email?
oh, hold on. 3:30. I have it on there. I don't have it on my because I tried to update my phone and I didn't uh update it. Oh, you're going to Laguna Beach with Jocelyn tomorrow?
Yeah.
I loved Laguna Beach. It was like I was like, I'm gonna live here one day. This is a
Oh,
goal.
yeah, I know. It's gorgeous down there. I love it. Yeah, we might do that. I don't know. It's she wants to go do that and I'd love to. So we'll see what her schedule ends up being. 'Cause I think she had something come up, so we may have to postpone it. We'll see.
My kids got in trouble, or my son did, when we went there because he picked up this like sea urchin thing. And the people came by and they're like, you can't pick them up. You can't touch them. You could just look. So they didn't really get in trouble, but you know.
You should have been like, I'm a marine biologist. I'm majoring in marine biology, and I'm here to examine
Well,
the
actually,
marine life. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
think she was a marine biologist, and I think she ended up teaching them something about, I'm not into that stuff, but she ended up teaching them about whatever.
Yeah. Well, um, yeah, that's funny. It's kind of how they were with the sea turtles in Hawaii, man. It's like,
Oh,
man,
remember that one swam up behind me? I'm like,
like freaking out. Yeah, it's like I'm just floating here. They're just swimming around me. They're fine. But they were like with their staff. I was like, this guy has like he just stands here all day. This is what he does. He is the turtle
Monitors
police.
the turtles.
It's like,
Um,
what a life.
when my daughter and I, when we went snorkeling in Hawaii, she was super scared to go snorkeling anyway. So we told her that we paid for her to go into the a shark cage. And she's like, "You did what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we signed you up to go in the shark cages." But okay, so it was kind of like reverse psychology a little bit, you know? So we knew if we told her that she was going snorkeling, she would like not want to go snorkeling at all because she was afraid. So we thought, okay, well, we'll start out with the shark cages and tell her that we signed her up to go in the shark cages. So we tell her this, and she's like kind of freaking out. And this is months out. We forget to tell her that she's going snorkeling until like we're on our way to Hawaii, and we're like, oh yeah, we forgot that. No, actually, we're going snorkeling. So
So she doesn't even have the protection of the cage. She's just free flying with the sharks.
yeah, it backfired. And so then she's
No
like,
way. No.
"Hi, Jay."
Hi.
Um, so
You're
we go
discussing my
snorkeling.
worst fear.
What is
Really?
Yes.
sharks?
Well, the ocean,
Oh,
large bodies of water in general, dark bottom pools, doesn't matter.
that's
Wow.
my daughter too. Yeah, it's
Oh,
like a huge fear of hers. And
yeah.
so I, give her this pep talk and we go snorkeling, and her and I are like kind of swimming side by side like this, and this turtle pops up in
Oh
between
no.
us, and its fin touches we were done. Both of us were like,
Oh,
done. I'm out of here. Can't do this.
Man, my
no.
daughter would have loved it. She would have been trying to like hug it and kiss it and like all this stuff. She loves the sea turtles. I
No,
do too. I think they're cute. I think they're cute. And
Mm.
I think they're cute from a distance. If I choose to touch them, that's one thing, but it chose to touch me and I didn't want it.
Okay, so you did freak out then. It wasn't just your
Yes.
daughter. Okay.
No, I freaked out too. And I freaked out when Jacqueline and I were in Hawaii also because it came up next to me, and yeah.
I
Yeah.
was just saying hello, you
Yeah.
know, laid back turtles. Yeah, we
Trust.
were when we were in Hawaii in June, I'm not kidding you, there was like 15 sea turtles on that shore that day. It was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot. And one swam up like right behind, was it right behind me or right beside me?
They were
Yeah,
all around you.
it
Yeah.
scared me. Scared me. Yeah.
No. No, no.
Yeah, I was done then. Like meant to lay on the beach, not be in the water.
You can have your ocean back.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, we're here, full house and on time. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
5 o'clock on the dot.
So we have a question. Did anybody watch Jacqueline's live today?
I started to. I couldn't finish it though because I had to work.
It
And
was
then
so awesome.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
So
finish
good.
it. I'm
That was a
gonna.
good one. Lots of
Hmm.
confirmation there.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
man, so many
Listen to it
confirmations.
twice.
I
I'm
got in
ready.
deep enough to start seeing some good stuff. So I'm definitely gonna.
Well, we thought that tonight Jacqueline has a teaching, but we thought that we would kind of discuss it a little bit because it kind of plays in to what we're doing, right? Like this is kind of like building blocks. Like we know what's coming down the pipeline now, so we know kind of not an exact timeline, but an approximate timeline of how to get our things together and in order and have a game plan.
Yeah. And I think that was the best thing that came out of that prayer session is that we kind of got an order and sequence of events
Mhm.
because there were still a lot of things that were unclear to me and I have been asking questions on. And I feel like Heather took one for the team last night with being sick and then, joining in a prayer session to be able to come together on this. And so, yeah.
So, and today I woke up feeling great. Yesterday I did not feel good. So those of you that had coaching calls with us, I was like, and so then I told Jacqueline, I was like, I think I'm just gonna go to bed. And my husband's been, my whole family has been sick. and I went to bed and I'm laying there and I could not go to sleep. And my husband's all stuffed up, so he's snoring. And I'm like, all right, I'm just laying here. So, okay, Jacqueline, do you want to get on a prayer call? And she's like, yes. And so we get on the prayer call and he just like started pouring everything out. And I was like, well, this was definitely intentional. And so after our prayer call, I went to go to bed. My husband was no longer snoring and I went right to sleep. And so I was like, this is you, God. Like, this is how you work.
So cool.
So, all right. Let me find.
Just FYI, frozen blueberries make you feel like you're eating ice cream and it's healthy.
Oh, that's creative.
That's good to know. All right, you guys will have to let me know if I'm sharing the correct screen. What do you see?
Yeah, we see the presentation.
You do, okay. And Jacqueline stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning putting this lovely thing together.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's makeshift, guys. It's not anything special, but it's like I needed to draw it out because it was just so much that he was talking about.
It was 3 a.m. We forgive you.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Oh, so we got our own personal rundown here. Very
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, I had to read back through the transcripts. So we have one or two things. I can either read you guys the transcript or I can read you kind of like my breakdown of what I was seeing that aligns with the thing that Jacqueline put together. How would you guys prefer that?
Whatever you think is best. We don't know.
Okay.
Whatever you feel led to.
All right.
Yeah, the transcript is a little choppy too because sometimes it didn't exactly translate our words correctly, and I haven't gone through to fully edit, Sometimes it put weird words in there and I was like, we didn't say that.
I did edit some of that, but it's
Oh,
not
good.
in order. It's in the order that we received it, but it's not
Yeah.
in order as far as timelines.
Yeah,
So, oh, go ahead.
so maybe it would make sense to,
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
Jacqueline put this together and she has the key events is the crypto run, the foreign currency reevaluation, the Iraqi dinar, and possibly others, the rug pull, the crypto and stock market crash, the crypto test run flash crash, and then global financial collapse. Everything collapses. So from what Okay, so what the Lord was showing me was a run up in crypto soon, and then a downturn, and then a run up, which is exactly what we have all felt like is going to happen, right? He showed me volatility in the market, and the bull cycle runs through the end of January, which there was a lot of questions like, does it end at the end of December or does it go through the end of January? Which I believe historically it has gone through January. I don't know all the way through the end of January, but historically it has gone into January. So the downturn this fall, from how I was seeing it, is it kind of seemed like that was possibly when we would see like the 11-cent mark. And I think he might have called it a crash, but it's not like the flash crash. It's not the total crash. It's just like a decrease in the market. Like it's going to go down in opportunities to buy in. And then he showed me another crash, and that one felt like possibly a flash crash. So essentially I think he showed me three, right? Like this, which I think that there will be more crashes, I guess, but three major ones is what he highlighted. was the one this fall that we're preparing for. And then there is like a rug pull crypto stock market crash, which I think that that one also had to do with the flash crash, right, Jacqueline? From my understanding.
Yeah, so apologies, there's a typo here. The rug pull and the crypto test run flash crash, those go together. Because
Yes.
he was talking about the rug pull was going to be this test going to happen after the test run. These crypto whales or whoever market manipulation is happening, whoever's doing that, they're going to pull the rug out and it's going to cause a flash crash. So that's a typo, guys. Sorry about that.
Okay, so I'll read what I wrote. He showed me another crash, and this one I felt like possibly the flash crash, not this year, but there will be an implementation of the blockchain system and a beta test for the new system. That system will fail or there will be an issue and it will spark uncertainty and fear in the markets. So how I saw that was actually how I described that was like the end game with all of this is that eventually they're going to be moving how we transact onto the blockchain. And so before it actually launches, they're going to do like a test run or a pre-launch. And that pre-launch is going to somewhere around there trigger a flash crash somewhere in that area. And I don't have a clearer picture of that other than that. And the whales actually, Jacqueline, I think were during, I saw whales this fall as well.
Yeah, I think they're going to be involved in both downturns. That's kind
Yeah.
of the sense that I got from the prayer session.
Yeah.
But that during the time before the crypto test run happens, it's like the Trump administration is going to be rolling something out and you'll see it later in the transcript where we're talking about they're not happy with Trump being the face of crypto
Yeah.
and they were deliberate. Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
involvement there where they deliberately are.
So
Yeah.
then I saw a merging of crypto trading and stock trading taking place. And how I saw that was like stock trading, it ends at, well, it ends at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, it closes, the markets close. And I have seen this twice now where like that it's going to be 24-hour trading somewhere along the line. And almost like not a big difference between the stock trading and crypto trading to whereas now they're pretty different as far as how you do them, you know, how you, and I saw them like almost the same, like the functionality between the two, almost the same. Um, and Jacqueline was curious, like, does that mean that stock trading will now be on the blockchain?
Hmm.
And I didn't get clarity on that. Like I don't know. I didn't feel like we got clarity on that. Did you, Jacqueline?
I don't think we did.
Yeah.
But I think you saw that you were able to buy stocks and crypto on using the same platforms. So I
Yeah.
don't know how they're going to integrate those, maybe offer both, but
I mean, you can do that now,
Yeah.
like on
there are some.
Robinhood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Robinhood. But
And I've also heard that they're gonna start tokenizing things, like even properties and things. I don't know how, but
Oh, I didn't even know that. So that
yeah.
that is confirmation. That's kind of, I guess it kind of goes along with this. Um,
like silver, tokenizing silver. I mean,
yeah.
and you had mentioned that, and I think maybe in a live that the Lord was leading you to that, buying digital silver.
Yeah, he kept telling me to buy digital silver because I was like, is there another place I could buy it versus buying like physical silver and then it just sits somewhere? You know, can you buy digital silver? Um,
Thing.
and
I'll try to find that info for you. I ran across it once upon a time, but I'll try to find it.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
They- You can
Costco
buy
sells silver, everybody. FYI.
You
who?
what?
Costco sells gold and silver.
Oh yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And Ryan's talked about a few times, I think it's Kinesis Money. And I haven't set up my business account with it yet, but that is Kinesis Money, I think, is on the XLM blockchain, but it's tied, tokenized with physical silver.
Nice.
I'm writing that down.
How do you spell that? Kinesis?
Don't put me on the spot. I think it's Kinesis.
That's right.
Okay.
You're saying that's a place that you could get tokenized silver, you think?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been around for a while too. So
Okay.
they've got a track record. And I believe, based on what Ryan said, it was on the XLM blockchain.
Okay. So I saw the merging of them taking place, and I felt like the merging of them is going to take place before the economic collapse. But I felt like possibly, I don't know, maybe right around the time that the flash crash happens, and when they start trying to roll things into the blockchain, when they tried to move like our banking systems and everything to the blockchain technology. Um, so, and then I saw a total collapse, and that is what he called it, a total collapse. And he highlighted that several times, was
Yeah.
like a total collapse. And when we were asking about like foreign currencies and the fiat dollar and stuff, he said it's a total collapse. And Jacqueline kind of had an understanding. She thought, well, I wonder if they have to collapse. And I saw it on a global scale, not just the United States. And so she was wondering, well, I wonder if they have to collapse everything so they can integrate this new system when they actually go to roll it out.
Yeah.
And I saw that in the future. Like
Uh-huh.
it wasn't.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the best way to sell it to people, right? The people that don't want to do it. You're just gonna be like, well, the old one's broken completely. We need this new system. That's how
Yeah.
you manipulate the masses, right?
Yeah.
Just think about rebooting when you have to update your computer. Sometimes you have to shut it all the way down and restart it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They always use the Hegelian dialectic, though. It's
It's
always the way it goes. They make
right.
us ask for it.
You got to create that crisis for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Make us ask for it.
so yeah, he talked about the collapse on a global scale multiple times, and it was a total collapse is how he referenced it. I did see the reevaluation of foreign currencies, the dinar, and he showed it like right around $1.22 to start, which aligned with what Jacqueline was like the price range that she kind of had. What was your price range, Jacqueline?
Between $1 to $1.50. That's what I thought in the beginning, the first wave would revalue to. So it was literally right in the middle of what I was thinking. Hey, do you want to go to the next slide, Heather? That
No,
no.
hold on.
Okay.
I have notes here and then I'll go to the next one.
Oh, never mind that.
Okay. No, because then I won't have my notes. Okay. And then I saw foreign currencies going up and down. And he did say when it revalues to sell all of your to sell it all. Don't hold on to it and wait for the next wave. That is what he told us to do. And all of this stuff, you guys like pray about it and take it back to him. So like I'm not responsible for nothing. But anyhow,
I
what
have a
he told
comment about that though.
you
So,
do.
'cause yeah, the foreign currency one, because Brandon Bricks had a video not too long ago about the dinar and the foreign currencies and how people would be celebrating that it got revalued and they're instant millionaires, and then all of a sudden it got pulled. The value like disappeared somehow. Maybe tied to the American dollar becoming trash, um but so yeah, don't hold on to it and put it in something gold, silver, I don't know, something right
Yeah.
away. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so then I saw them going up and down. And he said to cash it all out during the first run because there will be significant time between to buy more. There will be significant time in between to buy more. And I felt like he said it will go down again. So it might not go down to where it's at now, but I felt like it was like an opportunity to multiply again, right? Like it's going to run up, you cash out, and then it'll kind of go down, and then you can buy more when it goes down again because it's going to run up. And the second run up we saw right around like $2.60, like it's going to run up more, which we don't know when that time frame is, right? We don't know when any of these time frames are, but he's been talking to us quite a bit about foreign currencies recently and like the Nasara Jasara. So we feel like usually when he really starts talking about stuff more, it's getting close. And so, and I have felt prompted recently to buy more. I have a little bit, I don't have a ton of it, but the multiplication on it from where it is now to, let's say, $1 or $1.50 in between that range, or $1.22, like that is a huge increase. That's like the Shiba numbers that we've been waiting for. So,
How do you buy that stuff?
You have to go to a foreign currency exchange.
mhm.
They usually have them in airports. Sometimes they'll have them in malls, but yeah.
So then
I
when
order mine online. Sorry.
Oh,
oh,
yeah,
go
you could
ahead.
do that too.
Really?
Have it
That's,
shipped to you.
I
I will
Yeah,
had,
I've
write it
I
in
gotten
the
had
mine
to
off
buy
chat.
mine
eBay.
online.
What? Was that a
I've,
joke about eBay?
no, I've gotten all of mine off eBay. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Um,
And then what do you go back to the currency exchange to sell it back?
yeah,
Yeah, they take a fee. That's how they make their money.
which that goes into
And
the
that's the
next
only
thing.
option for getting out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's no online option for that.
or you could probably sell it on eBay.
There are
Some people
dealers
have
on
used
eBay you can
Wise.
sell it back to, but it's more of a complicated process.
So then that brings us into the next thing. So not the first go around with foreign currencies, but the future, like the future increase of foreign currencies is what he was showing me that they will be desirable. So then, like, I saw people being able to go into their banks and trade it out. And as I was saying that, Jacqueline said, well, that makes sense because they would make money off of it. They would make money off of the trading fees. And I was like, oh, that does make sense. And so I feel like in the future, it will be easier to trade in and out of currencies. But for the time being, uh, it might be a little bit difficult. Like where I live, I can't buy it in person where I live. I had to buy mine online. Um, and then we kept asking for timelines, and he said, I'm not giving timelines, and that is where faith comes in. But in my spirit, I felt like there was a 4-year window of things, which I have felt this many times. Like I felt like we have a 4-year window of when many things are going to start transpiring, and possibly like when they start implementing the blockchain technology. He did warn us about being in a cash position before the crashes. And he would give us more when the time gets closer, which now we can go to the next slide. Maybe. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So this is we're just trying to make sense of it, right, guys? Like nothing is written in stone. We're just kind of taking everything that we're hearing, everything that other people are saying. And he gave Jacqueline kind of the blueprint, which Jacqueline, you could talk to this. I don't have any notes necessarily on this screen. I do on the next one.
Yeah, so one of the things he was talking to us about in that prayer session last night was just more confirmation. He said this before, but he confirmed it again last night that Sheba would run first. So we're
Yeah.
going to see some pumps and some waves in Sheba, and we're to use profits from that to pour into some of these other coins that are going to run probably shortly after, like XLM and XRP, but also buy back into Shiba when it drops again, because it's going to be like the wave up here in the corner of the screen where it's just kind of going up and down and up and down, but it intensifies the magnitude each wave. So we both saw it climaxing. There's going to be a final wave, and that may be the tsunami wave that he's been talking to us about. I don't know. But somewhere in this pendulum swing of waves going up and down, we're going to see some type of crash. And he mentioned it's going to be both crypto and stocks that are involved. So possibly during that window, you might have an opportunity to buy some good stocks that you want to get into, or buy some more of stocks you're already in, like Znog and some other things. But
So my feeling around, I guess what I was seeing was like this season that we're about to go into is a huge multiplier, but it was almost like you basically want to sell out of your positions by the end of this run. Which makes sense because typically you do, right? Like at the end of the 4-year cycle, you typically want to be in a cash position because everything drops by in crypto. It's like what historically 70, 80%, I think 80% decline after the bull cycle. And so if you think about it, like historically it drops 80%. And then he's talking about a crash happening. Like that means things could get very low. And so we would want cash to buy in and multiply. But he did say that this season that there is much money to be made.
yeah, because if we just look at Bitcoin in 2017, and it's so funny, it's right around the election cycles, right? It's literally right in line with the election cycles. December of 2017, it peaked, Bitcoin anyway, around 17K, 18K, and then a slow decline in the beginning of the year. And then they went through their bear market and then started to ramp up in 2021. April 2021 had an all-time high that it reached, and then another all-time high in the fall of 2021. This time peaking around what, November 2021? And then a spike. It was on a steady decline the beginning of 2022, had a little pump in end of March, early April, and then went right back into a bear market for a couple years. And then, as we know, we started seeing the uptick of Bitcoin around this halving cycle that we had at the beginning of the year, but then really started pumping around April. And now, we're fully in the bull run right now.
We're at the tail end. Yeah.
We're getting to the tail end, but it's going to be tapering off at the beginning of next year.
So if we just look at like historically, it would make sense for us to be in a cash position. And then I feel like he's also given us kind of like a preparation. Like this is almost like a super bear market that we will be going into, right? Like something catastrophic could potentially happen or is going to happen to where we really want to buy up as much as we can.
But
Oops.
again, with the, no, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, but with what is going to be happening, and we don't know when this is going to happen, right? The Bitcoin flash crash. They're going to be doing some type of test run, which I
Mhm.
think from our prayer session, you had mentioned there's going to be a little bit of a run up that's going to happen from that, right? So there's going to be some
Yeah, because they're
buy.
going to dump a lot into it. So when they
Yeah.
do their test run, they are going to fund cryptocurrencies significantly, is what I felt like a run up. Well, I guess if I make sense of what he was saying, it seems like they would dump probably a lot into it, which would give it a run up.
hmm So be praying on your strategy for that because it might be good to be in some of these coins to hold longer term and then take some profits when that run up happens, buy back in when the crash occurs. Do you know what I mean? And for those of you that listen to the live, he specifically mentioned several times Bitcoin needs to be a big factor that you're buying into at the flash crash because it's
Yeah.
going to go down as low as 10 cents, is what he said multiple times.
Wait,
Yeah.
And
what's gonna go down 10 cents?
Bitcoin,
Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah.
yes,
Which and that's I'm not the only one that has said that. I have had a dream about the Bitcoin flash crash, and there are many words
there are.
about it flash crashing.
And you think about it, if there is a mass liquidation and these crypto whales are taking their liquidity out of the market, like they're literally selling all of their Bitcoin, it would cause a mass flash crash
Yeah.
where the value of Bitcoin would just plummet.
Yeah. And that was what I saw, but I think I saw that in the total economic collapse. It was like everything was dumping, very rapidly dumping. I just saw it going extremely fast, dumping very fast.
Were you guys saying that the Bitcoin flash crash is in conjunction with this failed beta test?
Yeah.
That is what we feel like. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then I said that this is all speculative around the timeline, right?
Yeah,
Like we don't know exactly. This
sure.
is just, he always says, put the puzzle pieces together, you know? And so we're trying to put the puzzle pieces together, but it's also very, like, very fluid. Like
Yeah.
it's variable.
But if you're
Um,
putting the puzzle pieces together, it made it sound like Trump administration is going to be making some moves with crypto. And
yes.
it's going to be those moves that they make it with crypto that's going to trigger um, this Bitcoin flash crash event. Like these people that are market movers, they are crypto whales. They have influence to literally make the markets go up or down. Um,
Yes.
they do not want him being the face of crypto. So it's almost like nefariously they are going to be planning something that makes him look like he's responsible for, do you know what I mean?
For the
Crash.
economic collapse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or crash, not
For
collapse. Collapse is different than the crash. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Like it's
So
a very intentional.
my understanding is that it has to occur within the green, has to occur within the 2026, 2027, or 2028 timeframe. Um, unless something happens and Trump is elected for a third term, I don't, you know what I mean? That's the only way that I'd be able to see that
Yeah.
it happening beyond 2028. But anyways, we have not received words on that.
Yeah.
So you're saying you think
So from,
total collapse?
oh, go ahead. What was that?
Sorry, you said you think that the total collapse happening within Trump's term?
Not the total collapse. I think the total global collapse, Heather, you saw that about 4 years out, which would be after the election of November 7th, 2028.
Yeah.
So it would happen
Well,
in,
okay. So I didn't, it was like, I felt like reading back through the transcripts, I felt like there was like a 4-year window.
But you've had dreams too that involve like the cows. Remember there are like 4 cows in one of your dreams
Yes.
that you had? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So I kind of feel like the Lord's been speaking about a
In
4
4 waves of the wealth transfer, he's said, or 4 phases is what he called it. Yeah. Yeah. And so I have last night, I like when I was reading back through it, the part that I said 4 years, it was kind of like he kept saying that he would not give us a timeline, but I felt like it was 4 years. Like that was just something that I felt like a 4-year window. Um, okay, so from our understanding this fall, crypto whales will come in and move the market. And I think this is where it will drop. And he said that there is much to be made this cycle and brought up multiplying the seed money. I saw the Bitcoin flash crash and I saw it had something to do with them trying to roll out the new blockchain implementation. It was a failure in the system or something along those lines. It created much panic, and I saw people liquidating their assets or a mass exodus from crypto. And God has been speaking to us about the next crypto cycle, which is the 4-year cycle, the 4-year halving cycle. Our assumptions is the next Bitcoin halving period because he has brought up 2028 to us. I felt like he is wanting us to establish ourselves before the next bull run. And I think that bull run is vital. And honestly, if I could just speculate for a moment, if we have a flash crash between now and the next Bitcoin halving bull run, we would want to gather as much as we can during the flash crash and probably hold until the next cycle to maximize our holdings. We know historically things run after the Bitcoin halving period for about a year, year and a half. We do not have the full picture around the global financial collapse and what that looks like. But from what I was seeing and hearing, it was a total collapse. I do not know, or I do know that they will be rolling out a new blockchain financial system. Our assumption could be that they will collapse the currencies to usher in the new system. We will have to wait for our instructions on that. He did highlight to load up on crypto before they roll out the new system. And for us, he really did highlight Bitcoin, that Bitcoin will not be something that people can buy. But Bitcoin will be just used for governmental and industrial usage. And it's basically to borrow against. And so that was instructions he gave us. I did see at least 2 runs of foreign currencies, but had the understanding that they may go up and down a few times. I'm not sure if the $1.22 and the 260 are just significant increases or times to multiply or what, but those were the 2 that I saw and they were spread apart. So $1.22 was one that I saw, and then 260 was another one that I saw, but they weren't together. Like he said, to sell it all, buy back in, and then there will be another opportunity to multiply. So he did say that they were spaced apart. So the Lord is preparing us and he wants us to get in position. We all know that there are going to be tough times in the future, and this is all intentional. And if we think about the Israelites, so this was something that he was showing me earlier, how the Israelites plundered, but then they entered the desert, right? Like, what were they going to do with their riches? There was nothing to do with it. And so same thing with Joseph, like Joseph, he prepared Joseph for a famine. And so it kind of makes sense because a lot of the times, like history does kind of repeat itself. And so it could be that we gain a lot and then we do go into a collapse and an economic hardship. So I don't know if you want to walk them through this spreadsheet that you have here.
Okay. our next part of our teaching?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing I do want to mention, the Lord has talked to us previously about
Oops.
a
Hold on. Let me get back there.
the
There.
virus coming, guys.
Yes.
There's going to be an engineered virus. It is going to be worse than COVID. I I think COVID was just a test run for what's coming next. And I don't believe there's going to be a rollout of any type of medicines that's going to really help with it. So this isn't for fear purposes or fear mongering. We know that we can plead the blood of Jesus over us. We claim Psalm 91 over us and our families. That is what it's going to take. It's going to take that level of faith for
Mhm.
what's coming ahead, right? Anoint your houses, anoint your thresholds, all of that, for what's coming. And I believe the Lord is going to give us more clarity and prepare us before any illness does get released. But it would make sense that they do it again around the election time because we
Yeah.
know they need help with the numbers. So
Yeah.
it may very well be that the global financial collapse happens because the entire world gets locked down again. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's exactly what happened in 2020. We pretty
Yeah.
much had a collapse of everything because the entire world shut down.
I also
So,
kind of wonder because you know how there's always a bait and switch thing? They don't want you to see one thing happening, so they show you something else. So I just kind of wonder if they're planning something like that for the financial collapse, because that's going to be intentional,
yeah.
most
Yeah.
likely. So I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
Like
And
a distraction. Yeah.
yeah, but I wonder what that could possibly be. If it has to be something even more horrible or what? I don't even know.
Be praying into that, guys. If you guys get anything, please
Yeah.
let us know. Love to hear more about it.
I
But
want to highlight ADA too when you're done. I'll talk about that a little bit.
yeah, with the cryptos, we put some numbers on here. The Lord specifically said Bitcoin will go to $1 million, guys.
Holy moly.
So that's not a joke. That's not like we're assuming. That's the Lord said Bitcoin will hit $1 million. So um the timing of that, we don't know that exactly, but this is why he's telling us load up on Bitcoin when the flash crash happens. And I think personally, when the next bull run cycle happens, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, I think that's when we're going to see the prophetic Sheba, hits $1, hits $13, maybe hits way above that. That's when
Mm.
I think we're going to see those types of numbers. And then Luna hitting $1. Right now, I think what we're going to be seeing is seed money multiplier. It's going to be
Yeah.
good. We may see a twofold, a threefold, a fourfold, five, sixfold, multiplication process that happens, but I don't think we're going to see Sheba hit $1 this fall. That's just me personally. I haven't received any confirmation from the Lord that that's what's coming down the line. The numbers he's showing me looks very much in line with what a lot of market analyzers are estimating is achievable with, you know what I mean? I think Trade Confident, he did a great way of explaining how XRP, Shiba, Bitcoin can hit all these numbers. So I'm in line with that. I think that
Well, and by then, if they are trying to roll out blockchain technology and that become our banking, because he said that we would be utilizing that to conduct business. Like that is the future of conducting business is blockchain technology. And so by that time, you figure 4 years from now, the next bull run, there will be a lot more money in crypto, and yes, like we know somewhere along there, there's this flash crash slash issue. I don't really know what all that looks like, right? But ultimately, you figure like there, that would make sense for Shiba to hit $1 and $13 at that point, because there would be a lot more um, in cryptocurrencies. So ADA is Cardano. And so a few years ago, I would say I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, he told me about Cardano ADA, and he said that that is going to be a major player, and he said it's going to hit 60,000 a share. And I kind of forgot about it. And then last night he reminded me that he said that. And
Mhm.
so that's why we put that on there, because I really don't even know a lot about Cardano. But randomly he like Solana was another one that he woke me up in the middle of the night and gave me the word Solana, and I had no idea what Solana was. And I had to do the research, and I realized Solana was, a cryptocurrency, and so Solana is another one that I think will be probably a major player. Um, but he's talked to me about Cardano ADA being a major player when this is all said and done, like when we move into that system. So
Yeah.
not
And
very many people talk about it though, but I wanted to share that. So
so during the flash crash, that's probably another good one to pick up. I mean, right now it's still very cheap. It's only 80 cents.
mhm.
So depending on what kind of strategy you want to go into accumulating that, I still think it's one to put on your marker, your bucket list of things that you make sure you're going to be holding at a certain point. We asked about Ethereum. The Lord said that Ethereum will be used in the future, but it's well, I forget what the exact words were, but
Let me find
it's
it.
not as significant as the way Bitcoin's going to be used, or in my opinion, XRP and XLM are going to be used. So
Didn't Money on the Move recently say, the last video or maybe the one before, I can't remember if it was Ryan or Phil, probably Ryan, that that we would not be in that 4-year cycle anymore, that it would be like start becoming an every year cycle? Did
I don't
anyone
know.
else hear that?
I haven't.
Phil was alluding to how it's probably not going to be as drastic because things are going to start smoothing out a little more because of all the institutional money flowing in. It's not going to be like an 80% drawdown from the highs like before. There's going to be demand buying it up when it gets, 30, 40, 50% down. It's not going to be as significant. And that's what he's projecting is like more of a 1 year waves, more consistent up and down rather than like
The
hammer down.
drastic,
So
yeah, what we're seeing.
we have heard that before. I think God has talked to us about that before, but he has also definitely highlighted this next cycle to us many times. So
Okay.
I don't know necessarily what that looks like, which it makes sense, right? Like the more people that get into cryptocurrencies, the more popular it becomes and utilized. That makes sense. It's kind of like stocks. Like stocks really don't fluctuate a whole lot. I mean, they do, like sometimes they do, but not quite. They're not as volatile as cryptocurrencies. And so I do know that he has said that it will not be as volatile, and that's the reason why he's been wanting us to build our seed money now, because later in the future it will level out. But
Yeah.
he has definitely highlighted the next bull cycle to us. So
Yeah.
for whatever reason, that bull cycle is significant. And it could be that they gradually increase between now and next year when normally they decrease. I don't really know what that looks like. So I can say that there's some truth to what he's saying, but the timeline, we are not sure. But he did say for us to gain skill set and knowledge now to
Yeah.
prepare for it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's really what he's wanting us to do, is to gain knowledge on how to trade in and out of it, how to kind of read the markets and understand what is taking place. Because I do think the window of multiplication is going to stop,
Yeah.
or it won't be quite as significant.
But I think that's going to happen after the mass implementation. Like once they've fully implemented blockchain and it
Yeah.
is now the system that is used, we've shifted over, that's when the stabilization is going to occur.
Right.
When all the funds and everything is moved into it, and there isn't going to be these events happening where people are pulling out and pouring in. that's when you're going to see everything start to level out. But I think that over the next 4 years, I've always imagined the wealth transfer was a series of time. It wasn't just one event that's going to happen over a couple months. I've always seen it as happening over a number of years. And I did a video on that, I think back in 2023, where, or maybe it was last year sometime, where I talked through this and my assumption. And I went up to year actually, I want to look back over that video because I think I did go up as far as the year 2029. I wasn't clear on what was going to be happening in those later years, but that was my understanding that this was all gonna, the wealth transfer was going to happen in stages and it was going to climax near the end of hitting where Agenda 2030 is, because the elites always tell us what they're going to do before they do it, and they have an
Mhm.
agenda of things they want to roll out by a certain year.
And they
The
said
other thing about
2030 was the target, right?
Yep,
And I
2030.
think before they announced that, I don't know if y'all follow, I don't much, but Tomi Araimi, he had the word of like, it was 2021, and he said like
Yep.
the church, you have 9 years left. God says you have 9 years. Like, and a lot of people took, oh, we're gonna be raptured in 9 years, but I don't think that's what he's talking about.
No.
Oh.
And the Lord too said during our prayer session, it's like the beast system, guys, is already in operation. We're operating in the beast system right now. Eventually we're going to
I
be
keep
moving in to where certain parties are going to be utilizing it for nefarious purposes, right? Just like Elon Musk and the Neuralink.
Yeah.
His intention behind it was to help people like paraplegics and people that didn't have full functionality and use of certain limbs. But it's going to get to a point where these technologies are going to be used for nefarious purposes.
Sure.
So we're to prepare in that meantime for
I
those
think
scenarios.
I think he's always had the plan for it to do what it's probably going to do, and the proof is his obsession with the letter X. Like he's had X.com since 2000 when they sold PayPal. And so there's a lot of things, and a lot of occultic things. But as far as Hebrew goes, Middle Hebrew, the Tav was written as an X, and the word Tav means mark. So
Interesting.
I believe that's his obsession with X, because you can look at with him and Peter Thiel, they're sitting there.
Yep.
There's a what's that?
I say yep.
They're sitting there with a CRT screen between them. It says PayPal. They just sold it, and they're holding up debit cards for X.com. So X.com has existed for decades, and it was always Elon just buys up things that will become the infrastructure for his master plan. This is the way I see it. And his old nanny, I don't know if you ever saw it, but she says her name's
I
Shalom.
did. I saw that.
Yeah, she says he's gonna introduce the mark, and she's known it, and his name used to be El Elyon, so it's like this all fits perfectly in what my understanding is. And as far as Aleister Crowley goes, in the occult, the mark of the beast is represented with an X in a circle. So all these coins have logos with X's and circles. I don't know if they're vying for position because they know Elon's going to be probably using coins with X's for X payments, and all of that stuff. It's his thing. He named his kid X. He's space or what is it?
SpaceX.
SpaceX.
SpaceX it's SpaceX, and the logo is an X. If you look at the Neuralink logo, it's not a real like wave. It actually it goes it turns it looks like a wave, but it actually makes an X if you look at it. So the X's are he's obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And
And when you
and
think about an X, when we mark things, we a lot of times put an X. It's a mark.
yeah, so that's what it was. It was like Tav means mark, but
X
Tav
marks
is
the
a
spot.
word that means mark, but it's also a letter that initially it was a cross. So when they put a mark above their doors in blood, did they put a cross above it? Because that was the Tav, the mark. So I don't know. And then it became the X, and then so that was in Middle Hebrew. So I believe that's part of it. And that Aleister Crowley, he brings up all of that stuff too. It's really, really interesting. Like the circle is the womb, And that's Isis, and the X is Horus, but together it's the Antichrist child in the womb. So it's the mark of the beast. So you think of X-Men, the logo was a circle and an X. They're
Oh,
X-Men.
Wow.
They're no longer men. What happens when you take the mark of the
oh my
beast? You probably
goodness.
are no longer a man. That's why you can't be redeemed.
The
So it's like
transition.
it's predictive programming because that's all the superhero stuff too. You know, it's
Yep.
like you take the mark, you're now a superhero. So it's this layer cake of predictive
Yep.
programming that they're doing. And the X is very important. So I don't think Elon's innocent, but I do believe he was anointed by God to do what he is going to do. So it's like we can't hate him. If it's God's will, it's like whoever
Yeah.
brings the mark, God was like, yo, it's you. And we're gonna make sure that you get there to do this. You know, it's like people want to think, oh, they're the enemies of God. It's like God's using them as a tool. That's part of that's everybody's gig. You know, God can use you however he wants to, even demons and Satan and whatnot. But
And
you
allow
know,
things to occur
yeah,
because,
yeah.
yeah.
But they're like they have this different sort of anointing to bring in these, you know, to be the harbingers of these things. So,
So
but my
he did
question was
say
always
the new world order stuff is going to be blockchain. Like that is what he said.
Elon
for
Musk
sure,
said that.
No, God
No.
did last night.
Oh,
for sure. I
Yeah.
knew it as soon as I heard of Bitcoin at 20 cents, and I'm excited to know that I'll have a second chance to do this and use my
Yeah.
You
tools.
heard Bitcoin at 20 cents before?
No, no, no.
Oh.
When it was 20 cents, like
Oh,
when it
when
was
it was,
like
yeah.
I was like, wow, okay, maybe I should get this. And it was like, no, wait, after the gears cranked a little bit, it was like, nope. My brain computes things in the background, so it
Yeah.
spit it out, and I was like, wait, no, Mark of the Beast,
Yeah.
that's gonna make it possible. Ah, God doesn't want me in it. So he probably didn't for other reasons because it would have ruined me, but it's like now I have another chance to scoop it up at 20 cents again. That's an exciting tidbit, but
Yeah.
yeah,
How cool
I
is
think the
that?
X thing is really interesting as far as he goes because he's putting it out there for us to see. If you're not wondering, why does he love X so much? He named his
yeah.
kid X, the Tesla Model X. Everything is XXX, and not
Obsessed.
everybody has recognized that, but I've wondered for a long time. And then God showed me, he was like, yeah, check it out. Tav, Mark, Tav is an X, Mark of the Beast, Aleister Crowley, all these people. And then the Shalom girl, it's like, oh, just weaved a nice little scarf out of it.
Sarah, you're so funny. I, to be honest, Elon started really giving me the creeps when he dressed up as the commander of Satan for
Oh
Halloween.
yeah.
That
He
was when
was
I was like, there's something wrong with this guy. Like, who does that? I mean, there are people that joke about it. They think it's funny, but when you're at that level, you know,
he was saying
Satan's real.
something.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, who's
He's a
operating
troll.
behind the scenes.
He's a high level troll. That man.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's we got another hour left here, so let's try to get through the rest of this.
Is this
And
recorded?
yes, we are
'Cause
recording.
I need some time to listen to every word that you and
Same.
Hunter have said. Because
Yes.
I
And
meditate on these things and pray about it.
so we have the transcript of the prayer call, and I feel like it's great. So we could probably even email it to people, email it to you guys so you guys can
Or maybe just make a post and put it on our platform.
platform.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like make it a little prettier and easier to understand because sometimes we ask questions of the Lord. Like he'll say stuff and we're like, okay, wait, Lord, what does that mean? What are you talking about? So we kind of go back and forth. And he circled around a couple of times because he could tell we were having a blonde moment and not quite understand what he was saying. So
You want to know what he did say though? That there will be many millionaires going into 2026. And
so
we're like, we claim it.
I claim
We
it here
claim
for
it.
all of you too, guys.
Yes.
How awesome would it be that at the end of this 8-week program or whatever, we're like on track to walk into the new year as millionaires.
That'd
That would
pretty
be
cool.
so cool. So
Let's
we
go
claim
go
that.
for Deca.
What's that?
I said, let's go for Deca millionaires.
Oh yeah, there we go. Even better.
Yeah. Well, and so we thought about that too. And kind of I guess how I was seeing it was almost like you get a little bit and then you have an opportunity to multiply that, and then another opportunity to multiply that. Like that's kind of, yeah, how I was seeing it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you start like you got a couple 100,000 and you're doubling that a couple times and then tripling that and then quadrupling that, you get to $1 million pretty quick.
mm-hmm.
So,
Mm.
Can I ask you a question? Are you doing like SHIB consecutively in the waves and then XRP consecutively in the waves? Is that how you're thinking about it? Are you going from one token to a different token to a different token?
I
I
don't know exactly. I know right now what he's told me is like that Shiba is first. That's what I know. I don't know.
so for me right now, I have a little bit in XLM, I have a little bit in
Yes.
XRP, but the majority of what I'm holding right now is in Shiba on
Yes.
my with the money that's on my exchange for trading coins. I did buy some meme coins and I tucked them to the side because I think those are going to run maybe later near the end of this fall
Yeah.
cycle before January ends. I feel that's what I feel in my spirit, but he would not confirm that exactly. So we'll leave that to the Lord when he wants to bless those meme coins that aren't on official exchanges. But yeah, right now I'm majority in Shiba, but once Shiba runs, I'm going to take those profits. Me personally, I plan to divide it up into buying some more XLM and XRP and and then buying back into Shiba when it dips again. And
And you're talking about those 3 waves that you talked about.
yeah, I'm just going to repeat
Yeah.
that process. So every
Yeah.
time one of those coins runs up, whatever profit I take, I'm
Yeah.
going to dump it into those buckets again. Whichever is lowest or wherever
Yeah.
it's at. I'm just going to have to read the markets as we go because things are going to be popping off all over the place. And I may even be, depending on how things go, I may buy a little more silver and gold. I may pick up some other coins if he highlights other coins to me. But right now it's been basically primarily these three. And then also Luna. You mentioned Luna would be
Mhm.
running. Uh, don't know exactly when, but I sold out of my position of Luna, so I may buy back in after Shiba runs. So
Yeah. I guess I was just confused because in my head I was keeping my XLM strategy going and then my SHIB strategy going kind of consecutively.
you can,
And
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah. Those are the 3 that I'm in also, just like Jacqueline. But
yeah.
yeah.
yeah, so we're in consecutively all three of those coins right now. It's just
Mhm.
in at different percentages. So
Mhm.
okay, guys, so let's get into what we're going to be talking about today since we are now in week 3. Um, and this week we're going to be discussing more along the lines of the Wealth Builders Blueprint. So I did email out a link to a workbook for you guys to download. Did everybody get that email? Yes, Sarah, you got it. Jimbo, I sent yours via Google Docs too, Jimbo. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I
You did?
missed it. I'm sorry, I missed it. I didn't
It's
check.
okay. I
No.
literally just sent it like an hour before this call, so
Oh,
it's
thank you.
okay.
I was like,
Yeah,
"Whoa."
yeah, yeah. I just sent it, guys.
I
So
was gonna be in
check your
trouble.
emails whenever you have a chance, but it's in your inbox. If it's not there, let me know and I'll resend it. But yeah, I was getting this done under the wire today, trying to finish this up for you guys. And I'll show it here in a minute, but first I wanted to talk about some things that the workbook will basically go through. So because we're going to be stepping into quite literally um, one of the most exciting parts of our journey, which is this wealth transfer that's going to be happening. Our focus right now for week 3 is we're going to be talking about income streams and not just having one, but building out 7 to 8 solid income streams that really align with your gifts, your purpose, and the unique needs that you are called to serve, in the season and the seasons ahead. And this is a biblical principle. It's talked about in Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 2, where it says, invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8, You don't know what disasters may come upon the land. So this is a biblical principle that it is smart and wise in order to invest in at least 8 income streams, 8 different income streams, because you don't know what disasters may come that could affect at any given time those industries or those income streams. And this isn't just, financial wisdom. This is kingdom strategy. Sorry, guys. And God designed diversification to protect us and to provide stability and to multiply our impact. So having one stream and then that one stream dries up, the it's if you have multiple, the river keeps on flowing. But if you only have one income stream and that that stream dries up, it's a complete stop. So we don't want that to happen, and we know what's coming down the line. So we're preparing for that eventuality. I want to take a second and talk about something. This is something that's illustrated in several books written by Robert Kiyosaki. He talks about his 4 quadrants, and I can't remember if it's called a cash flow quadrant or how he goes about um, titling it. But he talks about 4 distinct quadrants that people fall into. There's an employee quadrant, a small business owner quadrant, a big business owner quadrant, and an investor quadrant, right? So right now, many of you are still in that employee quadrant. Um, that means you're trading time for money. There is security in being an employee to a certain extent, but there is also a ceiling that you have, right? So if you stop working, the income also stops coming in. And we've talked about this already, how God is actually calling many of us in this season to transition into greater levels of stewardship. And I think that is symbolic of these other quadrants and what people, depending on what their calling is, where they're going to be moving into. So for small business owners, you leave being an employee, you start creating your own income streams. You may still be working daily, but you've shifted from building someone else's dream to building your own dream. And some examples of that is like starting a life coaching business or maybe an e-commerce shop or some type of local service that you're providing. The big business owners, when you're at this level, you're not usually the one who's running the day-to-day operations and functioning of the business. You have systems that are in place, you have managers and employees. Usually, there's 500 plus people in this case that are working within the company itself to be qualified as like a big business. Um, but they're the ones that are helping run and operate the business on a day-to-day basis. And then your role kind of shifts more in from a worker to more of the visionary and the leader. You create jobs and opportunities for others essentially. Some examples of that are, like owning a franchise chain or a large construction company, maybe a tech startup, or just simply purchasing an established business that's already at that level. You don't have to start it from scratch. And then the investor category, this is the stage where many of us right now are actually called into because many of us are already involved in crypto. And so at this stage, this is where your money is working harder than you are, essentially. Your money's working for you. You invest your money in cryptocurrencies or in stocks or in other tangible assets like businesses or possibly real estate. And I think those times are going to be coming. We're going to be using our profits that we're going to be making from crypto and some of these other moves to be able to buy those things and become investors in these areas where we've got our money working for us more. Which is ideally where you would like to be. So instead of you actively having to work, it's more of you being involved in stewardship of that capital And then you're thinking more strategically about how to take calculated risks and how to reap profits and returns on your investments. So, this entire kingdom journey is really about progression. Most of us are either employees now, or we were employees in the very recent past, and God is really raising us up in this generation and in this current season for us to be shifting in to ownership and investment positions and creating wealth that doesn't just sustain you, but also builds legacy and multiplies into the communities where each of you are called to be. And uh, I'll leave you with this verse, Deuteronomy 8, verse 18 says, "But remember the Lord God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth." Right. So He's the author of our wealth creation. He multiplies and gives us creative ideas of how to multiply, gives wisdom. So these are all amazing things that exactly what we're doing in this season is we're seeking Him for these wealth producing strategies, essentially. So the workbook itself, what I'm going to be taking you through
I
is we're
think
going to,
Jordan has a question.
yeah.
Well, I don't have a question. I now fall into the camp that I was an employee and not anymore.
That's
Like today was my
awesome.
last day.
Oh, see,
High five.
testimony.
So made the jump. Did it.
Yes.
You
That's
ready to start a
awesome.
business?
Well, yeah, this.
Oh, your crypto investments?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Crypto
He's
and
got some other
a
stuff
few other things.
brewing.
Yeah.
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 Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
only being
awesome.
nosy because I want to do it too.
It was, I, and I talked to a guy about it today. I'll keep it short. I've always, my whole life, I've always, earned and invested, earn, invest, earn, invest, and invest. And I've never harvested from the investments ever. That was my golden rule was that I don't touch it. Once I invest it, I can't, it's like locked. I can't go get it. I don't touch it. I've never touched it. I've made investment decisions that where the value of that has gone down, but that's not the same as like going to get it and spending.
Yeah.
So I told, I don't know, God, I feel like God highlighted this little pocket of money sitting over here. I'm like, why don't I just move that into my checking account? And then like I'm good for the next 3.5 months, you know? I don't have
Yeah.
anything to worry about. And then I can just focus on like what he wants me to do rather than like worrying about, oh, I got to figure out how to make money. It's like
Yeah.
I got a lot of money, I
Yeah.
mean, not like a lot, but I'm okay. Like we're going to be okay. We're not going to starve, you know?
Yeah.
So I can take some risks now. And so
Yes. And you know what you just did with that, Jordan? You invested in yourself.
bingo. And
Yeah.
that was the light. Well, and I picked that up from you guys in
Yeah.
it was either the mindset or the vision class. That's where
Yeah.
you told me that. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm scared of investing in myself. That's it.
Yeah.
That was the fear.
Yeah.
So, yep. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you for
That's
helping me walk into that. So,
the Lord's gonna bless it. You wait and
Yeah.
see, Jordan. You will.
And also like realize like he's actually your provider. So even if it is your job or if it's your business or if it's your investments or whatever it is that he's calling you to, or even Jimbo, like I went through a season like Jimbo, like I'm not really even going to tell you what to do. You're just going to walk, Okay. And then every door closes and you're like, "Oh, well, what now?" You know,
Yeah.
but he provides.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's we're going to kind of move into talking about the differences. I've divided this up into 4 different types of income that I want to talk to you guys about. And I've divided it up in this way for a specific purpose, and it's going to go along with the the workbook and what we're going to be trying to build together and the way that we're going to try to think about these income streams. Okay. So the first pairing is active income versus passive income. So active income, as you guys can tell, everybody probably already understands what this is, right? This is where you're trading your time, energy, and your skills for money. So if you stop working, that income also stops coming in. And this can include a variety of different things. It can include working as an employee for a 9 to 5 job. You're earning wages, right? You're trading your time and skills for money. It can include freelancing work, contract work, where you're, providing a service to customers, but you're trading those skills and services for money. Small businesses where you own that small business, you're operating and driving that small business, but that small business solely depends on you and your ability to produce and operate and run it for it to be functional. It does depend on you in order to run it. So you really do have to handle the day to day. So that's your active involvement in it. So that also qualifies as active income. Any type of coaching, consulting where you're trading your experience and time for an hourly, some type of a packaged fee-based setup, that is also active income. If you're involved in any type of like speaking engagements or service-based work, plumbing, or in this case, like Jimbo, you do construction, you build things, you paint from time to time, some type of labor or professional services, that's active income. And even trading and flipping things such as crypto or stocks, real estate products, things like that, that it's tied to consistently doing something like buying and selling activities. There's a number of other things that I could, put into this category, but that's just to give you guys a broad picture and help you understand what I'm talking about. Passive income, on the other hand, this is something that keeps working even when you're not. It's something that works even when you're sleeping. Um, you do the work, a lot of times you do the work once and you're able to get paid on that work again and again and again, and it just continues on. And these can include simple things like writing a book or creating a course or buying a rental property. And now you have tenants that pay you rent every single month and it's consistent. Um, Having a vacation home, but you Airbnb it for a portion of the year. So that vacation home is no longer just a liability, it is now a asset that is generating some type of passive income with very minimal effort. Sometimes you don't even have to manage the Airbnb or the rental of it. So you can contract that out and it's even more passive. You have no involvement really needed in it. Buying farmland, leasing farmland out, dividend paying stocks is passive income. Cryptocurrency that you're staking or yield farming is considered passive income. Intellectual property, we talked about that, about like books or music, courses, software, things like that, that you would collect royalties or licensing fees on after your initial creation process occurs and the publishing of it. There are sometimes automated digital businesses like online stores or membership sites. Creating your own app, stuff like that could really be beneficial and generate passive income. There's more simplistic things like vending machines or an ATM, a laundromat, things like that. They're assets that you can buy, but they consistently generate small residual income on a passive basis. And even like peer-to-peer lending or private lending, if you guys are, get to that point where you want to you know, uh, be a capital investor, or be a, what do they call that? A venture capitalist, where you're literally lending money to people to start up ventures. That could be something that you do where you have very little involvement, but you'll collect a percentage of returns of the profit, which is great. Business ownership is another one where if there are if there's systems or a management that's already in place, so you don't have to be involved in the day-to-day operations of it, but you're just sitting there collecting profits from that business that you owned and purchased, That's the best type of passive income that it could be. And really, neither of these is bad. Most of us start in the active income area, but really the goal that you want to think about is trying to transition as much of those active income generating income streams, transitioning them into more passive so that it allows you to have the time freedom because no amount of money can buy you any not one more second of time. So you want to make sure that you're balancing your time freedom, your financial freedom, all of that appropriately so that you can have as full of a lifestyle um, so that you're enjoying your time, enjoying your life, really. I mean, nobody wants to um, build up wealth, but then still constantly be working all the time. It's not, you want to have a more healthy, balanced lifestyle, so to speak. I hope I am describing this properly. I feel like I'm fumbling on my words a little bit here, but
Yeah, I was saying that yesterday, something like that yesterday. Just you can be really, really rich, but if you don't have time, you're not wealthy.
yeah,
That's part of it
it's part of it.
is having the time to enjoy it. Otherwise, you're just
Yeah,
rich, but you're still a slave.
yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk a lot about balancing all aspects of your life, not just the wealth and financial piece, but balancing your health, balancing your time freedom and where you're allocating your time um, and all of that. All right. And then the other, sorry, I just jumped ahead a little bit. The other two areas that we're going to talk about is wealth store assets versus portfolio assets. So we're going to be defining these two other categories. And I'm splitting these out because I think it's important to acknowledge the difference between these two areas, right? They're, in my opinion, a wealth store asset are things like a primary home, a residence, maybe land or collectibles that you own. They hold value, they can build equity, but they don't necessarily put cash back into your pocket. It's not necessarily something that's generating passive income back to you, but it is something that you can buy and over time it grows in value. Does that make sense? So this can be a primary residence that you live in. It can be a vacation home that you own it, but you're not necessarily renting it out to anyone. It's not creating any type of income that's coming back to you. It's just when you look at your balance sheet, it's just an expense, right? Something you're paying for every year to maintain the upkeep, the mortgage, whatever it is, all the expenses that go along with ownership of these things, but it's not putting money back in your pocket. They may go up in value as far as the market worth of it, but as far as income, it's not bringing income into your an income stream in any type of revenue in. Land, that's not in use, it's not generating any type of rent or um, it's not being used for farming or anything like that, would fall into this category. Vehicles, so it's like your primary vehicle, or if you have multiple vehicles, maybe you collect classic cars or something. These things may appreciate in value, but they're not necessarily generating cash flow into um, your household. Whereas a portfolio asset, these are financial, it's kind of like your financial vault, so to speak. This can include things like precious metals, cryptocurrency that you may be holding long term, cash and savings, insurance, things like that. But it's things that you're also utilizing um, that you can make income off of, but that you can also liquidate very easily if you do need, for whatever reason, to you need the money, right? If you need, a lot of times with a wealth store asset, usually those are a lot harder to liquidate. I mean, if you try to sell a house, it's usually you don't want to sell a home in under 30 days. You got to go through some red tape and make sure everything's in order before you sell that. Same with land, same with, a couple other things. A car, yeah, you might be able to sell that a little quicker. But as far as like portfolio assets, usually this is something that you could sell very easily and very quickly to get cash in your pocket, so to speak. So um, just wanted to kind of clarify that. So when we're filling out our workbook and we're looking at things, we're classifying these areas appropriately. And there's going to be a cash flow quadrant that I'll walk you guys through, and it'll make sense when I visually walk you through uh, the workbook. I don't know if I should bring that up now or if maybe I'll share it now, just so we can talk through it together. Okay, let me know. Can you guys see everything? Okay. Okay, so I went ahead and I'm on the second tab. It's called the Wealth Flow Framework. It's the very second tab. The first tab is just like the previous workbook where I have some instructions here for you guys, and it talks about some things. I also put together a glossary in here so you guys can reference some of the things that I'm talking about you right now. I've defined it here for you, and each of these things do have their own little symbol reference as well. And we're going to talk about this next, which is the income quadrants. And from there, we're going to also talk about income stream statuses and where the different phases of some of these income streams might fall into. I did not do instructions for every single thing within this workbook, but I did at least get instructions started for the first two tabs. So for the wealth flow framework and the income stream. That's what I got in there so far. The others is going to come in a couple of weeks, and we'll talk about it when we get there. So this first tab up here, the income stream brainstorm, this is what you guys started already with your homework last week. And we've talked about it with you guys already a little bit in detail on some of your one-on-ones. And you guys all did a great job and really thinking about that process and putting together a pretty decent, some of you really good lists. I mean, you guys have really thought about this, and that's really fantastic. I feel like you guys are you've got some great momentum going so far. So what we're going to do now with that homework exercise that you guys wrote down on paper is you're going to put this and generate it into the workbook, into the spreadsheet, and we're going to start building on top of it and defining it a little bit more. So here under the income stream name, this is where I would list all of your income stream ideas. Don't limit yourself. And this is another thing where the Lord brought this up to Heather today when she was washing dishes. I don't know if you want to talk about it or do you want me to share it?
I could talk about it.
Yeah.
He's actually, are you talking about the $1 million?
Yeah.
Okay. So he has asked me this so many times. And I can tell you when I first started on this whole like wealth transfer thing, like, yes, you can look at net worth and like maybe somebody's worth, your net worth might be worth right around that. But if you were to be handed $1 million, like if God was like, okay, I am giving Sarah, you're receiving this $1 million. What are you going to do with it? That's what he asked me.
Yeah.
Simple as
And you,
that.
yeah.
What are you going to do with it? What is your plan around this? And, you know, what we are about to walk into is very significant, right? Like it'll be a lot more than just that. But we need to have a plan for $1 million before we end up with 100 million and so on and so forth. Maybe a billion. Maybe there's some billionaires in the making here. But what is your plan? If he was to hand you $1 million tomorrow, what is your strategy around it?
Yeah. And I would be thinking about that when you're doing this exercise, because you've already put together some nice meat to this exercise of the homework that you guys have written down. Some really great ideas you guys have. Put all those on here
Oh, and
and
he's
list
asked
them.
me, how would I multiply it? He
Yeah.
has asked me that. So now I know when he asks me that question, it's not just what am I going to do with $1 million, but the idea behind it is how am I going to multiply the $1 million? Like, what is my game plan around it?
Yeah. And for some of you, that game plan may be reinvesting it in crypto. List the specific cryptos that you're planning to reinvest in. Maybe under your notes section, start thinking about the strategies that you're going to go through, with the different waves that are coming. Um, are you going to allocate a percentage of that $1 million? And hey, I'm going to use this exclusively and keep this in crypto assets. And then a percentage of it, I'm going to start investing in stocks. And then a percentage of this, I want to start buying some businesses. A percentage, I want to start buying some land. I want to start buying some real estate. I want some rental income coming in because that's passive income that I don't even have to manage that. I can outsource the management of an apartment complex. And with anyone with kids, how many of you got kids that are going to be leaving the house soon? Yeah, you start owning, well, not soon for you, Jordan. You got some young ones. But I mean, you can buy apartment complexes and hey, your kids have a place that they can, live on their own when they adult,
Start
you
him
know?
young, Jordan.
Yeah.
8 years old, you are going to work.
No, oh yeah, I got plans for sure.
Yeah.
My,
But it's
my
just,
little girl is like she is an entrepreneur, just crafty and like she loves making money. Like I'm telling you, it
oh,
is so funny. But she also is like the most giving. Like she makes it and she's so excited about it, and then she just gives it away. Like
That's
it's
perfect.
pretty
precious.
pretty neat.
That was beautiful. Well, yeah. So, yeah, be thinking about this exercise. This is a fun exercise. Don't limit yourself on what you write down here. And I think I left a good amount. I mean, you got maybe 30 or so, spots here that you guys can brainstorm ideas on, right? If you need more space, open another tab. But the something in the act of writing this stuff down helps, I think, in the creative process. And it's really a great exercise to go through. There's a number of little drop downs that you're going to have. So the type of income, I want you to guys to categorize what type of income stream is this. And you'll see it's the little symbol that we have here. So there's a dollar sign for active income. There's a little golden coin with an institution inside for passive income. There's a little like storehouse, like a building for the wealth store assets. And then at the very bottom, you got graphs. So that's the portfolio. So you're going to break it down into those 4 types. And here is the glossary again, if you need, a reminder of what each of these are defined as. The placement quadrant, we're going to talk about these here in a minute, but you're going to categorize which quadrant do these income streams fall into. And this is where they're at today. You may be shifting some of these income streams over time into different quadrants. We'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. This is important because you're going to prioritize a focus on this. Is this a high priority income stream that I need to be working on right now? Is this something that maybe it's more of a medium priority that I'm thinking about it? I'm actively kind of planning for it, but um, it's not my number one focus. And a low priority is something that's it's just going to fall at the bottom of your list. You want to get to this eventually, but it depends on a couple of other factors. Maybe money, maybe timing, maybe a number of different things. Who knows? I'll let you guys decide how you want to prioritize things. Now, this status drop down, this is and I'm going to explain this in a little bit more detail in just a minute. There's a couple of different status criterias that it may fall into. Current income is self-explanatory. I think all of us on here have a current income um, that they're working on, except for Jordan. Jordan just worked into working for himself, so he's going to be so his current income might be a little bit different than some of the rest of us, but everybody should have at least a current income that they put into this list, right? So there should be at least one thing on here. And then for a lot of you, like this current income is going to be your day job, right? You're an employee somewhere and you're hoping to transition out of this, but this process we're going through is the planning of transitioning out of that income stream into other income streams. And then we'll talk about some of these other stages or statuses of, the hourglass, the rocket, the seedling phase, the star, all this other stuff and what these kind of represent. But the idea here is to really just kind of categorize each of these ideas or these income streams that you're putting down on paper and eventually we'll be making plans for. Okay, so let's move into talking about what I have dubbed the wealth flow framework. This has 4 quadrants to it that you can see, and I've designed this as a tool really to help elevate our income streams honestly and decide which ones to focus and prioritize on, if that makes sense. Because just like I gave you guys the example of Steve Jobs, right? And one of his models and techniques was to hyper focus on those things that were um, going to have the biggest impact, right? In whatever it was that he was doing. So he understood that there's times where you have to deprioritize things so you can really focus on what matters. So this framework should help you guys try to identify what are some of the things that are important for you to focus on, what are some of the things that you can wait on, and what are some of the things that may not be very rewarding right now, but you do need to focus on it so you can move it into a quadrant that is going to be very rewarding for you later. So let's go ahead and get into this and talk about what all this stands for. um, so we have the different quadrants here, and I'll name these out. So we have uh, drainers, what I've dubbed a drainer, and some of these are very self-explanatory, and it'll probably make more sense as I get into this. We have shallow streams. So this is an income stream but it's a shallow stream. It's not a deep river. It's a shallow stream. We have some false wealth conceptually, and then we have the kingdom wealth. And I think you guys can probably understand by the diagram that the idea is to have as many in this bucket of the kingdom wealth bucket as you can, right? And you're not limited in this bucket. You can have a really good amount of things in this kingdom wealth bucket. You can have things that are both active income generators and passive income generators. All of the criteria types can be within this kingdom wealth bucket. And I'll kind of explain this in a little bit more detail so it makes more sense. So let's start here at the bottom. Drainers. What are drainers? So these are things that they tend to drain money, time, or energy. They can feel like assets, and they may be assets, but they are going to cost you more sometimes than you bring in. So in the beginning, when you're starting out a small business, a lot of times they are drainers. Sometimes it takes time before you get to the point where you're generating income, if that makes sense, especially if you're just starting up a company. And a lot of times you've got to put in an initial capital investment to even get that small business up and off the ground. Sometimes it even needs a second injection of income to sustain it before it's really starting to generate income and pay you back, if that makes sense. So in the beginning, usually all startups, they're going to start as drainers because you're investing a lot of time, effort, and energy into these things before you're actually being um, paid back. But eventually you do move into the shallow streams, and then the really good businesses that are successful, you get to move those over here into the Kingdom Wealth bucket, right? So just to give you conceptually what that looks like. Some other things that can qualify as drainers could be things like rental properties that might have negative cash flow. So if you have um, tenants maybe that aren't paying rent, or you have situations where, like in 2020, there's a lockdown and all of a sudden the government tells your tenants they don't have to pay rent, but you're still having to pay a mortgage on that property, but you have no income coming in. All of a sudden, that investment that would look like a great investment, it might have been over here in one of these categories, quadrants, suddenly becomes a drainer real quick. Um, Day trading, over trading, sometimes you go into the negative. Um, Side hustles that where you may have overextended yourself. Um, Sometimes this happens with, people that they take on second jobs, or they're trying to, do a side business to bring in extra income, but it's just not working profitably in their favor. Sometimes high maintenance vacation rentals or vacation homes, these can be drainers and not working in your favor. Uh, an unprofitable business, like we just talked about when you first start out, that definitely goes in there. Sometimes speculative crypto mining and staking, those things can be considered drainers. Um, an unmonetized YouTube channel or social media channels could fall into this bucket. You're not really making any money on it, but you are focusing a lot of time and on energy on it. So those are just to give you some ideas. Um, the shallow streams, this is where it, the income stream is paying you. So you are generating income. There's income coming in, but they're not necessarily scalable to a point. There's a ceiling to it, right? Kind of like your day job, right? Your 9 to 5. You get capped at a certain point. You can't really go beyond a certain point as far as the income that you can bring in. And it may not be necessarily aligned with your purpose or your calling, but you're busy. You're working hard. You're doing things. You're providing for your family. There's stability there, but you're not necessarily building legacy. Um, so this can be side hustles that may be unrelated to your gifts. Maybe you're just, driving Uber on the weekends to bring in some extra money. Um, when really you're called to like teach or be a life coach or something along those lines. Um, Sometimes overbooked, like freelance gigs, could be causing a lot of burnout and energy for you. I think that would fall into this bucket. Um, Overtime in your job with no ownership or growth potential that's there. Um, and I believe I listed, if you look over here, I've just listed a couple examples so you can see off to the far right where I've listed off some things you can kind of look for yourself to kind of better understand what might fall in each of these categories. And then under the false wealth bucket, which would be down here in the far right corner, these are things that look good, but are considered unstable or maybe disconnected from your calling. They could also create the illusion of wealth, but not necessarily sustainable. And sometimes some things like frivolous spending or luxurious spending can go into this category, where you may have wealth stores. So they may be assets that will store wealth for a certain extent, but they're not necessarily bringing in income that's benefiting you into your, you know, into your household. So this could be like luxurious rentals, or maybe like a luxurious purchase, like a boat or a yacht. Sarah's example is fantastic because she has talked, I believe you've talked in this group mentorship program about buying a yacht, but you could utilize that yacht as potential income stream um, forgive me, I don't want to call you out, Sarah, but you had a great idea. And I don't know if it was during the vision masterclass that we had or if it was something else.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
think it was in this one, but it's okay. Yeah.
okay. Well, we talked about it at some point,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's a great example of where you could take something that would kind of fall into this bucket of like a false wealth. It's just more of a luxurious item to have, but it could turn into something that could create income and it would go into a different bucket, like the kingdom wealth bucket. So something to consider. Um, and I'm not going to read off all these examples. I'll let you guys kind of read into it and see what might um, fall into these different areas that you know may qualify for you. And these might just be fun things that you want to buy for yourself or want to have, like a collectible car or like a classic car, like something you may want to treat yourself, fine art, uh really really nice house somewhere. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things that um you may purchase these items. They may be considered luxurious goods, luxurious items, but it's not like these items are feeding into your income in any way. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm not judging this at all. I'm just saying as far as from an investment standpoint, there might be other ways that you can look at things where some of these assets that you have sitting around may also have multi-purpose. So you might be able to use some of these fun, luxurious things to also feed back into your overall wealth strategy and bring some small income in here or there. So I'm just bringing this up to help you guys try to think creatively about these different criteria, these different areas of where things might be, where your wealth might be going, and how you could utilize that to your benefit to continue to multiply. Because the whole point is to try to multiply and steward what you have um, over time. And then obviously the last bucket here, the green bucket, you want this one to be the biggest bucket over time. This is what I've dubbed the kingdom wealth bucket. And the goal is, these are streams that multiply. Um, they align with your gifts, they align with your call, they create impact, and they're going to build generational legacy for your family. So these are things where like you maybe rental properties that have positive cash flow, or if you're developing online courses or digital products, you're doing work one time, but it's able to be sold and generate income over and over again without your continued involvement or management. Those are some of the best types of income streams that you can consider putting together. Anything that's going to create some type of royalties, maybe like a book or music or licensing out content, like maybe a program. Maybe you write a program or develop a program and then you could lease out or license that program for other people to teach or do, and that creates an income stream for you. And you don't have direct involvement to it, but you put in the work up front and are able to get paid on it over and over again. Um, and then business ownership, farming, coaching, life coaching. There are a lot of different things that you can do, a lot of different things that can go into this bucket, and those can be active incomes or passive incomes. But the goal is to limit how many active incomes you're going to be attached to and try to build up as many passive income opportunities that you can so that you make sure you have a good life balance and you have the time freedom that you're going to deserve. I mean, all of us, I think we're kind of feeling the need for some rest and some restoration of things. And we want to be able to take some personal time with our families and um, enjoy that, right? So I think that that's all part of it. So a part of this exercise will be just kind of labeling these different income streams and where they might fall, where they're at now, but that may shift, right? As you go through this exercise and as you start um, developing some of these income streams further, you'll be able to get creative with them and move them into the areas that you may need them to be. Because each of you are unique. You each have unique callings and purposes and skill sets. So you're going to have a lot of different varieties of things that you're probably going to be putting into your wealth flow framework. And then once you've completed this, I would use this framework to summarize what are going to be your top focus ones. And I left this here as an example, but I probably should have deleted this out, and I do apologize. Oh, I just saw an error. I think there is an error actually. No, no, there isn't. Okay, I left it here as an example, so I didn't do anything wrong, thank goodness. So basically, I have examples here for you guys. You can delete these examples. But I wrote out a W-2 job. You know, this is a primary source of income. I kind of showed you what that looks like when you start categorizing these things out. So this is a current income stream, so it gets a little check mark here. And then it's an active income, meaning I have to work for that every day, otherwise I don't collect a paycheck. And it is a little bit of a drainer because I have to put all my time and energy into this in order to earn that income stream, right? So that's how I've qualified that. And it may actually qualify as a shallow income stream. I gotta relook at this, but I put it in here as a drainer for specific reasons. So anyways, I can't recall. And then, so this is an example. I kind of wrote this down as an example of what me and Heather are doing with Kingdom Economic Builders, because I think each of you have a familiarity with a number of things that are on here. So it would make sense to you from an example point of view. Like we have our platform, that's a paid subscription platform. That's something that we're currently engaging in. So, and then we have our live workshops that we've been doing that we're going to eventually turn those into e-courses, and we're working on that right now. But we are in the process, and we've done 2 live workshops so far, and there are still more to come. So that's something that I've dubbed it as an hourglass, that it's in progress. These are being worked out. This series is not yet completely finalized, but it's waiting to be completely completed. So for now, it'll be an hourglass until it's completely done, and then it'll get a check mark when I finally move that forward. The group mentorship program. This is something that we are currently in now. I gave it a little seedling phase because currently, I mean, this is planned. It's in development and it is growing stages right now. You guys are my test group, so thank you. We're building this as we go, and we're doing it together, and the Lord's moving mightily in this. So I feel so blessed by each one of you guys that decided to join this program, because I think he's gonna bless all 6 of you guys in a mighty way. So this is exciting for me to see. And Heather, I'm sure. But and then one-on-one coaching, this is something Heather does routinely with her consulting and everything, but we're kind of doing one-on-one coaching with you guys through this mentorship program. So I've dubbed this out as a separate income stream. And then the digital e-courses. So we're going to be creating e-courses off content. The first one is going to be off of this series, but there'll be more that's going to come. So I put that as a separate income stream on here. So you guys be thinking about that too, because I think some of you guys might have some knowledge and wisdom that you could very easily turn into some type of digital product, whether it's a little booklet, whether it's a course or something you put together. Maybe it's just a curriculum and somebody else is the one that's going to be the face of it, but you're licensing out this knowledge. So be thinking, there's a lot of creative stuff that you guys could be thinking about, what fits you guys. But these are just examples. Some of the status symbols down here, like I put a little bit rocket, a little rocket on here for launching soon. So this is something you may be working on. It hasn't officially launched. You haven't sold anything yet. You haven't marketed it, but you're in the process of building it and you're going to be launching it soon. So Heather and I have that where me and her are finishing our recordings of our e-courses right now. So I put a little rocket symbol next to that. And then um, I put a star symbol for anything where this is in an idea stage, or maybe you just have a vision of this, but there's nothing yet that's been produced. You haven't really started developing it or planning it out or anything like that, but it's an idea and it's a great idea and it's something you want to put on your to-do list and you don't want to forget about this idea. So the whole point of writing all these things down is that nothing falls through the cracks because when the money and stuff does come, guys, that's when you probably going to start activating a lot of these ideas and a lot of these income stream generators. There is a circle arrow, and it's kind of, those, you see the little arrows, the spinny dials. I put that as a cute symbol for anything that's in development. So if you're transitioning towards launching something or you're developing content, kind of like, are you writing a book? I would use this ticker because you're developing the content now. You're writing out the book, you're writing out the course, whatever it is, you're working on it actively. So I would put it in that stage. And then these last two, um, these are more wait till later. Um, the pin, this is something where you may write this down on your list. It's marked as planned or maybe an upcoming focus project, something that you're going to put it on hold. It's like I want to put a pin in that. This would be a really great idea to get into. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I want to do it. Like me and Jimbo, we have a similar passion. I want to build homes using 3D printers. So, yeah, you said that the other day on your one-on-one and I was like, "Yes."
That's why
That
you were like, that
yes,
one hit you. That one hit you right.
it
I was like,
did. It did because I think that's so cool. I did a presentation project on that when I was in college and I'm like, "Look what they could do with 3D printers."
it's
10
so
years
cool.
later. Yeah, 10 years later, look at what's happening. It's unbelievable. The
Just
technology
buy
is,
it.
yep. It's like, let's
It's
print a
crazy.
community next month. We'll just print the whole
Yeah.
the
Hey,
whole
that's a great
community.
idea,
We'll
actually.
be able to buy
Yeah.
robots to run our conduit and HVAC too at some point here soon.
Let's hope they're better than the waddly things we see on the internet.
Well,
Um,
especially for like natural disasters, like you could go in and just build a community while people are
yeah,
waiting for their homes to be rebuilt.
I have a
yeah.
passion for like Hobbit house communities, and I have a
Yeah.
friend that also does with a 3D house printer. You could just dig a rut and then print a bunch of houses and then cover it back up. And I mean, there's so much you could do with a
So
house printer.
much.
I want
You,
one of
So
those.
much.
yeah. And very green. You can also use the heat from the earth. It's like geothermal heating so
Yep.
that yeah, there's so much that you can do. Honestly, guys, there's so
Yep.
many ideas just in this little group. Can you imagine where it's going to go from here? Um,
Yep.
but it's like when the funds come, we're going to be pulling triggers on these lists. It's going to be fun time. And so the explanation mark I have on here is like a watch list. I know you guys have seen things on the internet. It's like, look at this technology. This is going to blow up in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Put it on your list, put an explanation mark next to it, and be like, the moment I can buy into this, that's what I want to get involved in. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, start categorizing these things. Like, I want to buy into this technology. I want to buy into a company that does this. And maybe these are great companies that are going to start making positive changes in the earth that we really do need. Put them on your list, guys.
I got some inventions in mind for sure.
Right? I'm sure you do, Jimbo. So, yeah, I mean, you might need more than what I've allotted here, but this is to get you guys started. So, um, so your main assignment for this, I would say, is complete this tab, get this going, and whatever you put in your top 10 income streams, and I put top 10. I know the goal is right to develop 7 or 8, but I'm putting top 10 just because some of us do have day jobs, so that's going to take up one. Some of you guys might have hustles already, like side hustles you're working on, so that's going to take up 2. So, but I want to leave room for you guys to brainstorm other ones too. So, I'm calling it the top 10. Um, and then next, this takes us over into the income streams. And this is going to be an exercise where it's going to pull the data that you populated in the previous tab. Okay, so whatever you put here in this summary income stream tab is going to automatically generate and be populated here. Okay, so this is your focus. You don't have to change anything. All of these things are going to auto-populate from the other tab. The only thing that you're going to be changing on this tab has to do with revenue forecasting. This is just to give you guys, let you guys have fun playing with numbers and visualizing the potential that you could really have in a short period of time, because I'm telling you, 3 years is going to go by quick, especially with everything that's happening. 3 years will go by quick. And maybe some of what you're projecting in these years of projected forecasted revenue, you might project low and you might blow these numbers out of the water. I don't know. But it's something to give you to start thinking about and playing with. I put 2024 revenue in here because sometimes it's nice to look at where you've come from. You know what I mean? Last year is a good starting year to be like, that's a baseline. I'm in 2025. 2025 isn't over yet. We still got 4 more months, guys, to rock it, to blow it out of the water. 2025 is going to be fun. I can't wait till the end of 2025 to see where we ended up, right? But then 2026 and beyond is where these income streams are going to really start flowing, and you'll probably be seeing some things start up and going with that. And I put down here, you can try to calculate your projected income however you feel comfortable with doing that. Depending on what your income stream is, you may need to do it on a side piece of paper. I just put some examples here that might help you in calculating stuff. Okay. So, and maybe the example tab over here may help you more. So I filled out this spreadsheet using examples from me and Heather, and I screenshotted things to give you guys examples of what that might look like. So if you want to look at the examples, feel free to do that. I've listed those here, and I don't know why there is a weird grayed out. I don't know what's going on. And you guys can unprotect this sheet at any time. I've protected it so that you don't accidentally delete any of the equations or codes or anything. Why is there a white bar in the middle? Okay, looks like it disappeared. Okay, it was glitching for a moment. Sorry, guys. So here under the income streams, I'll show you guys. Can you see this? Do I need to blow this up? Maybe I'll just blow it up a little bit bigger.
I can see it.
Okay. Yeah, so I put some numbers in here just to give you guys an example of visualizing what this might look like, right? So you got your basic, 9 to 5 job. What does that look like? You would add that in here. Our platform, I just put in some generic numbers and I said, we're going to grow this over time. This is what it may look like. By 2028, hopefully we'll have 200 people that are a part of our community. That would be awesome. And that's what it would look like. So that's a milestone goal. And then for each of these income streams, I kind of generated some numbers and then multiplied those over time and did like a gradual growth of what income might look like for certain activities, right? And then down here is an example. Why is it doing this? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. Oh, okay, okay. It just wanted to be white for a second. Okay. So, I listed out what the activity was. I started brainstorming about, okay, what kind of price points would I want to sell these things for, right? And then looking at it on a monthly basis, estimated how many sales might I get for each of these activities. And then once I did that, I've got an estimated monthly revenue. And then based from there, I did a multiplier of, well, since this is 2025, I only multiplied for some of these, how many months are left in the year. And that's how I came up with the numbers that I have listed up here under 2025. So obviously for 2026, the multiplier is going to be 12 months because I'll be able to do some of these things for 12 months. Unless it's the group mentorship, because that's an 8-week program, I can only do so many of those in a year. And because the group mentorship is a active income stream, meaning it involves my time, it's not something that I can really scale. You know, my time's limited. I can only take on 12 people at a time in those memberships because I have to have weekly calls with them, and there's a time factor involved. I can only do that so many times per year. So um, this is how I went about trying to calculate potential revenue for things. So as you guys kind of go through and start brainstorming ideas for your income streams, think about this as well. And maybe I'll let Heather kind of speak to the importance when you are getting to the point where you're thinking about pricing. And I don't know if we want to mention this here or later on in the marketing. Um, we're going to be talking more about marketing and pricing later on in this
Yeah,
program.
I think we should wait until the marketing
Okay.
to bring in the, so essentially your pricing goes along with your niche, right? Like the people that you're called to. And in my experience, a lot of the times what you want to do is price yourself within the realm of the people that you're called to. So I did hair for many years. I guess I did other things, but I also did hair. That was one thing that I learned that very early on is it's really hard to start out charging, next to nothing because you just want to build your clientele. And then all of a sudden you want to run it or like reinvent yourself because you have a ton of experience and you want to double your prices. Well, then there goes majority of your clientele. And so if you're going to start something, I would start something out basically along the lines of who you're called to and which aligns with finding like your ideal client and the people that you're called to serve. So,
Yeah.
How do we do this if it's ministry, or like my vision that I was given is like a hybrid. So the portion with the profit, I could do that, but I don't know how. I mean, I guess you would just leave it off for the ministry portion because it's not a profit thing. It's
well, okay, so even if well, I guess it depends on what your nonprofit is built upon, right? You have some nonprofits that are purely donations, and then you have other nonprofits that operate like a business. It's just not owned. So a nonprofit, essentially, what it means for it to be a nonprofit is that there is no ownership. So
huh.
if you start a nonprofit, you essentially do not own the nonprofit. You have a board that basically controls the whole operation. And now you might have been the I cannot think of the name of it right now, but you might have created it, came up with it, and whatever else, but you essentially don't own it. And so in order for you to create a nonprofit within the United States, you have to say that you surrender everything from it and there cannot be any personal gain. You can be
Mhm.
an employee of the nonprofit and you can gain a paycheck, but there is zero ownership there. And I think God might be like reforming a lot of the nonprofits anyway and how they assign and assemble within the United States, along with the churches. And I know that there's also like a different law We actually created, instead of a 501(c), we created a 504 or 508. No, I can't remember. But anyhow, that was like basically the tax code and tax law for churches originally. And a lot of like speakeasies and stuff like that they used to create them under that same like, I guess, tax law, because that kept like the federal government out of telling them how to assemble. But so that is kind of how a nonprofit works. You can sell goods, you can operate as a business being a nonprofit. It depends on what kind of nonprofit you're going to be.
Okay. Can I pick your
Yes.
brain about it tomorrow during my one-on-one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've done work with nonprofits and for profits. I have more experience with for profit, but I've done quite a bit of work with nonprofits also.
Yeah.
Well, I think
And
you mentioned like foundations, right? Which is more like you own it, but it's like a hybrid almost.
That's what I'm talking about, like a hybrid thing.
So I haven't done a lot of work with foundations, but I will look into foundations for you. Um, Remind me about that, and I will look into foundations as far as how they, like, what their operating systems are. You know what I mean? And from like I guess a legal standpoint and how they're structured. I'll look at
yeah,
that for you because I don't know I don't know for a foundation. Because
yeah,
I would assume that a foundation is for like a direct cause. Yeah, I don't know. Like it just makes me think of like Bill Gates. I think we should just
yeah.
go in and take
Ew.
his foundation
Ew.
from him if that's the case,
Well, they
right?
use them for like tax shelters, tax advantages. There's certain things that the elite use under umbrellas of these names,
Yeah.
right? To
Yeah, but
funnel money and
I don't know as far as like the ownership. So like you take a nonprofit, most nonprofits are considered charities. And a charity is not owned. Like it's governed, but it's not owned. I don't know. I don't know how foundations work as far as being, in the name of philanthropy.
yeah.
I don't know.
And this is where me personally, I might have control issues where it comes to this because if there's anything that I'm going to be funneling my money into when I enter the kingdom building stage, I want to have control and say over what that money is used for. So what I probably will do with some of my business ventures is I'll create a business that will be maybe like a FEMA, maybe with a dual purpose vision, values, that will be responsible for doing causes and things that are close to my heart that I want to be involved in, charitable things, that I can tithe from my operational businesses into that
You
business.
can't if it's
So
for profit.
So that's what,
You can't
oh,
if it's for profit. And also people can't volunteer if it's for profit. So if somebody works for you, if you're a for-profit business, you have to pay them a reasonable wage.
why
And so
wouldn't you
they're
want to pay them a reasonable wage?
Well, I'm just saying, like, how a lot of people have nonprofits and then people come in and donate their time for the nonprofit. But
No,
same thing
no.
with like if you have a nonprofit or like if you're creating an organization, you can't tie them to it. I mean, you can, I think so. I will have to remember my sister and I created
Not
a,
tithe as a tax write-off,
oh,
but give money to in the guise of helping a cause, not to get a tax write-off. Because people can donate to our business today. They're not going to get a
yeah,
receipt that they can write off on their taxes. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. The whole point of these foundations is so you can get a tax write-off from Uncle Sam.
yeah,
I don't really care about Uncle Sam. I'll pay my tax, whatever. But I
yeah,
want to have control over, hey, are we going to go in and make a difference in this cause? Do you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah. I would want that control too.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Especially
because
to keep it Christ-centered and everything like that, the way I want to.
boards, people move around on boards, people can infiltrate boards, people can vote against the better interests on boards. I don't know. Things happen when you get people involved. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. But if you maintain ownership and control of that company, what's the worst you got to do? Pay some tax? Okay, I'll pay Uncle Sam some tax until taxes, bye-bye. But yeah, so that's kind of how I see it. I would like to create um a business that does good. But the great thing about a business that, they have more expenses than they do income coming in is they don't pay any tax.
So
Do you know what I'm
it looks,
saying? And you want to pay the people that are spending time helping out these causes. Why wouldn't you want to pay them? Do you know what I mean? I
yeah.
Okay, going and volunteering your time for church endeavors, yeah, that's wonderful. If that's your tithe and what you want to do, but if you're going to have somebody spending, 20 hours a week or any considerable amount of time, I think they should be fairly compensated for that time. That's just my opinion.
So ChatGPT says foundations are typically nonprofits.
Well,
You can
maybe.
create you can create a for-profit foundation, but in context, it's not typically um the same. It's just kind of like you're just calling your name a foundation. But it's majority of them are considered charitable foundations, aka nonprofits, and that's usually how they set the business structure up. But I think as we get into this and things are changing, I think that there's going to be some type of change around nonprofits anyway, because I think that there's been a lot of things going on with nonprofits that shouldn't be.
Yes. Like money laundering?
Yeah, pretty much. Probably child,
Yeah.
Child
sex
trafficking?
Um,
trafficking.
Yeah. I'm not gonna laugh at that
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Do we have any questions? I know we just went over a lot of stuff. Do we have any questions about this so far? Or about the workbook itself? And it's okay if you don't have questions now and you want to ask your questions maybe during your one-on-one sessions. That's absolutely fine too. Um,
No
okay.
questions. I have a praise report before we leave real fast. Um,
Yeah.
so I did my budget thing this weekend.
Awesome.
And I mean, I already knew the devil was a liar. I mean, come on. But like I realized I was a lot better off than I thought, but I was living like my mind was living in the past of my past mistakes. So that was good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm a better steward than I thought I was.
Good
That's
job.
great. What a nice praise report. That's great. That's a good way
Well
to end
done.
this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good job. That's awesome. Okay. Well, I hope my workbook isn't too intimidating to you guys. I hope you guys can have fun with this exercise.
I
And
like this one better.
you do? You like, okay, cool. Yay, ching. It's a funner exercise because you're getting to fantasize and dream about the what you could do and what you will do and all that kind of stuff. So it's more future looking and about things that you guys are passionate about, obviously, and you've probably been thinking about for a number of years. So I'm excited to hear some of what comes out of this for you guys. And then I don't know if anybody, before we drop off, if you want to share any like aha moments or anything you learned from maybe going through the exercise of, the homework of what we did, because I know we talked about it a little bit on some of the one-on-ones we had this week, but if anyone wants to open up and share maybe something they learned through the last week, I'll open it up to you guys. No pressure. All right. Well, then I guess we'll leave it there. Heather, did you want to add anything, I guess, before we drop off?
Mm-mm. No.
No, we're good. Okay. Well, awesome. Well, happy Thursday, guys. Tomorrow's Friday. Enjoy your
Yay.
Friday and enjoy your weekend. And Jimbo, I don't know, did you set up your one-on-one for next week? Do we have you?
No, I did that, and I think that's what it seemed like that may have been the thing that screwed it all up. If apparently there's a way to do it, I just did it wrong. So I will get in there and do it. But I'm gonna shoot for Wednesday at 6 again. I
Okay.
Wednesday.
expect
That's
to see
fine.
that. Right?
Okay.
That's what we did. Wednesday 6 Central for me.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, if it probably is still open, so if it's
It
free,
seemed
you'll
like that's a block where you have had. I'm trying to not be
openings.
somewhere random in there. Give
Okay.
you a block to get it out of the way with everybody.
Okay,
We'll see.
cool.
We'll see. It should work this time. I won't screw myself up.
Yeah. No, that's great. And thanks everybody else for getting yours on the calendar, and we will see you at your next one-on-one, and then next week we'll meet on Thursday.
So there is a way to do them all at once, or you got to go in there and
You gotta
because
individually schedule them like
yeah, I
each
tried. I'll
week.
try again.
I had you go back to the link every time. Like close it
Yeah.
out, go back to the link, close it out, go back to the link.
That's what I did, and then I never got a response saying that it was good, and then she confirmed she never got one. So it was like,
Yeah.
all right,
If it
well,
if it doesn't work again, Jimbo, just let me know. And I'll send you an invite and we'll put it on the calendar manually. So
already.
yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a
Have
great
a great
night.
weekend.
Have a
bye.
great weekend. Bye.